Hello everyone, Nev here, and I just realized that I have a chipped off nail here, and I didn't do my nails before I did this, so sorry about that. Yeah, so I got a new deck. This is one of the decks that I got for Christmas, and it's the Capybara or the Capybara Tarot. Yeah, I always call it the Capybara Tarot, but it says Capybara at the top, so that's very cute. Yeah, so I've been using this deck because it is one of the ones that I got for Christmas. I mentioned it in my haul video, my Christmas haul video. Yeah, I've been using this, and so it's not in order or anything like that. Yeah, and I actually have like very limited space for movement right now because I'm actually in my ritual room, but I've had the heat going in here for like 5 hours, and it's still really cold, so I put on a big winter coat and I've got my feet in my slippers, and I've got the heater right up on me, and I still had a little bit of this Kalia candle left, so I lit that so I could warm up my hands a little bit here or there. So it's freezing in my ritual room during the winter. Yeah, so yeah, my husband got this deck for me. It's super cute. Backs are nice. I mean, the backs are okay. I don't love this like gold color on the outside. Like, I'm not sure if they were trying to mimic the capybaras or something. I'm not quite sure, but it's a little bit off. But then at the same time, the edging is like this really nice like matte gold. It's a really nice edging. Yes, this is by Scribblist, the same people that did the Gourmet Tarot. And I had this on my list as a, you know what, it's a cute deck. You know, I really like capybaras. They're adorable. It's an RWS clone, so I'm not really going to say much about these cards as I go through them. But though there are some pretty good interpretations, because it's not like a straight up clone. Like, there are some things that are a little bit, like, there's some stylistic changes to it, but in general, you could easily tell what each of these cards are, you know. So, yeah, so, I mean, they're pretty obvious what's going on here. Love this. This is really pretty. Yeah, so, and this is, I think, see, like, this is where it gets a little bit of a deviation. Yeah, we have that, the person in a boat with the 6 swords, and they're, you know, running away. But this depiction of it, one, this person is alone, whereas in a lot of depictions of the 6 of Swords, they're usually with someone else. Sometimes it's a child, like taking a child away, or, you know, like packing up and leaving, that sort of energy. And it's usually very solemn, whereas this is much more energetic. It's much more forceful. It's a sort of taking charge sort of energy here. So, and there's a rough seas that it's going through. So definitely a little bit different. So, I mean, like I said, it is an RWS clone, but it's not like a perfect clone. Like, it's not exactly like that. I mean, this is a bit different. The strength card here, it's almost like they're in a state of zen. It's sort of that taming that beast, of course, but it's reached an almost meditative state here. So that's an interesting take. Lovers, of course, is very cute. Death, you know, and of course, like, because this is intentionally a cutesy sort of deck here, it tends to lean positive, and even the harder cards are a bit more gentle. Like, here's the 5 of Swords, that conflict, and it still doesn't feel quite as, like, you know, as the typical 5 of Swords. 10 of Wands, yeah, I mean, really straining hard there. 8 of Pentacles, my favorite tarot card. I like that. Yeah, very cute deck. I've had it on my list for a couple years now. And my husband graciously got it for me for Christmas. Honestly, if I kind of had a feeling he was going to get me a tarot deck, and I figured it would either be this deck or it would be the Witch's Tarot. And whichever one he didn't get me, I was going to get myself in probably February, because there's actually other decks that I was getting in January. But so he did get me this one. So in February, I'm going to buy the Witch's Tarot. This is a cute depiction of the Four of Cups. Yeah, I feel like some of these interpretations or the depictions here are the meaning of the cards, but kind of brought to not an extreme, but like more intensified, I guess. And because of the expressiveness of the capybaras and how they're drawing them. The Three of Wands here, this is interesting because Three of Wands is kind of like that embarkment, embarking on an adventure. It's right after the Two of Wands where there's a lot of like planning or thinking about it. Whereas the Three of Wands is like that step forward. Almost full energy, but not quite, because the Three of Wands, you have thought it through sort of thing. Whereas the Fool is it's more spontaneous. But this depiction is quite interesting because instead of looking out to the world, this capybara is looking at this other capybara that maybe, because this capybara's got all the food and stuff, all the carrots in their sack there. I wonder if this capybara here is wanting to follow that person's lead, that capybara's lead. Yeah, and that sort of, this person seems to know what they're talking about, or seems to know what they're doing, because they've got all the ingredients, they've got all the the wealth, whatever, and that maybe I need to follow that person, which could be a good thing or a bad thing, of course. Yeah, because you might want to follow someone who's shown that they are more successful, but then at the same time, I mean, we can I'm going off into a different direction here, but just because someone's rich or has doesn't mean that they got that through on their merits, that sort of energy there. So I've talked about that too long. Anyway, Five of Wands, okay, I was gonna say this feels almost more aggressive than that Five of Swords, but I think it's because of their face. Like, they're straight up arguing, whereas the Five of Swords, they're fighting. But I don't know, there's something that feels slightly more aggressive with this depiction, whereas normally it's opposite with those two cards. So this is, it is an adorable deck. This isn't necessarily a deck that I would use for deep meanings, but it's a cute sort of pick-me-up sort of deck, I think. I'd probably put it in the same sort of vein as my Barkana Tarot, which is kind of a deck that I have that's just sort of a good mood deck. There's not a lot of depth to it. It's an RWS clone, same with this one. Yeah, so I'm not expecting deep and meaningful readings from this deck, but it is still a nice deck that I hope to get a lot of use out of. It's probably going to be a good daily reader when I have it as my nighttime readers. Two of Cups. This almost feels more Lover's card than the Lover's card did. I mean, the two cards have a very similar meaning. Yeah, nice. Oh wow, look at that. Oh my goodness. Very cute. Sorry, I'm not saying much right now. I was just kind of looking at the cards. I did use this as a nightly reader the last full week of the year of 2024. The next, the last 2 days were in the new in the New Year's week. So I switched to a different deck for that one, but yeah, I like that. And there is an extra card in here. I haven't come across it yet, but and it actually came up during one of my readings. And there's a PDF guidebook for this, which is pretty typical for these sorts of companies like Scribblist and all that. A lot of times they don't have guidebooks on their own. The Gourmet Tarot did have one. It had a nice little thin little white book. But this one had a PDF, and it looks fine. I mean, I peeked into it, but oddly enough, it does not give any sort of interpretation for the extra card in this deck. And I thought that was very strange because it did come up. So, I mean, I kind of came up with my own interpretation of it, which may or may not have been the better choice. But yeah, and I guess it was fine. I just, you know, it in the context of that it came out in, I read it that way. But it would have been nice to have some sort of idea of what the creators' ideas were with that card. Now, this is definitely going to be a deck that's going to be difficult to pair if I decide to pair it with other decks. I did pull out several decks to give it a look-see, and we'll kind of see where it goes. But I'm not quite sure. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see. I pulled out a few decks because the Oracle deck that I was using when I had this, you know, for that week at nightly readings, it didn't match at all. But I was doing a thing last year where I was using one Oracle deck for the entire month and then switching out tarot decks each week. So it didn't match at all with, it was the Wisdom of the Kalyak Oracle, which is a beautiful, beautiful deck. But it definitely didn't match with this. It had very different energy. I think the extra card is, wow, I haven't come across it yet, but, oh, here it is. Okay. So this is the extra card. It's the carrot. And I guess it really depends on how we might... It feels very Ace of Pentacles to me, not Ace of Wands. You would think it's Ace of Wands because it's a carrot. But no, actually, I was thinking of it like... as far as kind of how I interpreted it when in my reading, it sort of made me think of the Ace of Pentacles in that it's like this is the nutrients. This is in that one card, the Three of Wands. It kind of looked like his backpack was full of essentially riches, all the carrots, because that's what the capybaras want. They want the carrots. So it's maybe a wish cards in that sense. It'd be a little bit more like the Nine of Cups. I think I'm trying to remember what the wish card is. So maybe like that, maybe like the Ace of Pentacles, kind of representing abundance. So that's kind of where I took it, and it made sense for my particular reading. But maybe if it came up in a different context, I would have a different interpretation. But yeah, in the guidebook, there is nothing about this card. They don't even mention it, so that's odd. And I think, you know, these companies, because I'm pretty sure these are from Thailand. These companies, I think, I don't know that they have any one artist. The creator is just Scribblist, you know? Let me see. An original creation by Scribblist. And I don't know if that's a person or if that's just a company. And so they have like a group of people. Artwork by Gummyall, which was the same person that did the artwork in, or same person or same group of people, I don't know, who did the artwork in the Gourmet Tarot. So, yeah, so Scribblist is essentially the company or the creators in general. I don't know what their company consists of, how many people are in it. Yeah, so there we go. So those are all the cards for the Capybara Tarot, and they do shuffle nicely. Same as the Gourmet Tarot, these cards do shuffle quite nicely. I'm going to do a quick... They're good quality. It's not linen, but they've got a slight texture to them. Sorry about the dog, by the way. So they do have a slight texture to them, which makes it easier to shuffle. And they bridge nicely too. All right, so I'm just going to split this in half. All right, so let's see. I guess we'll try this deck. It's one of the first ones I grabbed. This is the, oh my gosh, the name of it just escaped me. It's a desert deck. So it might, you know, it might seem like an odd pairing with this, maybe. High Desert Oracle. Yeah, and I got this deck on Etsy, and it was really, really cheap. It was like $12. So I'm going to do a quick shuffle of this. but it's nice. I like this. I like this deck. It's not one of my typicals in the sense that I don't usually like a full message to be on the card. I barely like keywords on cards. Like, it depends. If there's too much information on a card, sometimes it takes away some of the reading aspects of it for me. Yeah. But I do like this one, and the artwork on it is. I think it's photography that's been kind of digitally altered. That's kind of what it seems to me. So, I mean, in between the Five of Wands and the Page of Cups, we have relaxation. Now is the time to rest and recharge. Make sure to schedule some downtime for yourself every day. Do whatever relaxes you. Read a book, take a nap. Known as forest bathing, sitting or strolling in nature is calming and can boost your immune system. So, I mean, it's a very nature-oriented deck, so that's kind of where I was leaning with some of my deck pairings here. Going in nature-oriented, even if it's not something that seems like would be Capybara-based. Okay, I have no idea what I was saying because I just ran off. I just had to deal with the dog for a moment. She is still barking a little bit in the distance, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, I went with more nature themes for this deck. This is a bit off. I don't know. Well, self-care. I mean, the message. Yeah, this message makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so what I like about this deck is, one, I just like the general vibe of it, and the messages, but also some of what's in here, I like that it talks about what's in the image, because that's the main thing with decks, with guidebooks and things like that. I'm not really a guidebook kind of person. And if there's too much information about each card or something, it kind of overwhelms my brain. But one of the things I do like for guidebooks to have is if there's a special kind of art or a different direction that a card took, I'd like to know about that. You know, like even in the fandom decks, I kind of want to know, like, why did they choose this image or this part of whatever fandom it is to depict this card. You know, that kind of stuff I like. But yeah, I mean, this is actually a pretty good reading. The Nine of Swords with the Two of Cups, with self-care in the middle. I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. Oh, whoops, I put them in the different piles. All right. And then we have Three of Cups and Five of Swords. So maybe a lot of fighting with a group of people, like some infighting going on. I mean, especially people you care about. There's a lot of arguments going on and hurt words. And this moment of stillness and taking some time to just... right now is not the time to act. So I feel like energetically these work pretty well. Even aesthetically, it's not too bad. I mean, it's going to be difficult to try to find things that match this deck. Yeah, because it is a very cartoony deck, but I don't want to necessarily go cartoony with the decks that I choose to pair with it. So I don't mind going with a theme that's a bit different, you know. So, death and change between the moon and the Five of Pentacles. Wow. A change is really needed, you know, and, yeah. Yeah, very interesting. All right, so I'm going to switch out for another deck here. So I've just spread these apart here because the next deck I pull out is actually going to be a Lenormand. And this was actually the first thing I thought of when I thought about pairing this deck. Now this is cartoony, and this is my Bitmochi Lenormand. Yeah, so this is my character. This is obviously a deck that I only use for me. It would be awkward to use this deck for other people because this is me. It's my character. So, but yeah, so I thought maybe pulling it apart and doing like a little 9-card box here. And I got to pull this even further apart here. And that is the case with a Lenormand, and it's actually kind of why I like Lenormand decks to be small, because I like big Lenormand readings. I mean, I can do like a 3-card reading is fine for me with Lenormand, but I kind of like a 9-card box. That's my go-to. That's the main thing I like from Lenormand. And I probably won't switch out some of the other images. I'll just leave it on these 9. We can get a little peek here on what the cards look like. And so we'll just stick with these 9. So I'm not constantly switching these out. So I might do something like this, or I could do 4 cards. Hold on, there we go. I just had to take off my big coat because it did start to get a little warmer in here. Let me grab this. I'll put that there. Ooh, 3 of Swords. All right, and then that. So, I mean, that would be a general reading. You know, I could zoom out, but it's fine. It's fine. And yeah, I mean, that looks cute. I mean, I don't think there's much else to really say about this because this just kind of works out. Now in this particular reading, I would have set meanings for what the positions here are for. I mean, this is a 9-card box answering whatever the question is. And then what's around it is kind of the energies of it. And it's 4 types of energy. So you could do the earth, air, fire, water. You could do as above, so below, as within, so without. You could do something like that. Any sort of prompt for the 4 cards around. So yeah, I think I don't think there's really much more I really need to do on this one because I think this is a pretty no-brainer sort of pairing. So I might in the future do some readings for myself, obviously, because this is my Lenormand deck with the Capybara Tarot, especially if I need to pick me up. So, all right, let me move on to the next deck. So one of the ideas I had was to pair it with specifically the Pacific Northwest Tarot, which is not where capybaras are from, another location sort of deck, but it is a very nature-oriented deck, and I feel like the artwork could match pretty well. But it is a tarot deck. Now I have it, this deck I intended to pair with the Seed and Sickle Oracle, which is what is in this bag, though I almost never use these 2 decks together, even though I made the bags match and everything, and I almost never use them together. But so I thought maybe I could try to set something up where I use this plus maybe this and the Capybara. So let me set something up real quick. Okay, so we have the Pacific Northwest right here. We have the Capybara Tarot here, and we've got the Seed and Sickle in the middle. Now, I'm not quite sure how this looks aesthetically. These 2 definitely match aesthetically. I'm just not quite sure how I feel about the Capybara. And with that in mind, if I was going for something that was a bit more aesthetic, maybe I would switch these. But I'm not sure. But one of the things I was sort of thinking about with this deck that I could possibly try is because this Seed and Sickle, it's a system that works on a 2 different meanings for the cards, a dawn meaning and a dusk meaning. We could attach dawn to the. I'd imagine this one would be dawn, and in which case these would be switched. But dawn and dusk, and sort of interpret it that way. That could work. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I feel like maybe it would work better if these were switched then. So let's try that. So if we do it like that, then this side is the dawn meaning, and this side is the dusk meaning. Now this deck has this obnoxious quirk where it comes with 2 guidebooks for the meanings, and I think this is the most ridiculous design ever. I'm sorry for the creator. Fez Inkrite, I think, created this, and it's a lovely, lovely deck. I just think the 2 deck system is not a good system. It doesn't make any sense, and it's really clumsy. So yeah. Anyway, so let's see. Let me find chickweed in here real quick. Let me see. Where is this? And then because the cards aren't numbered or in any sort of quick lookup sort of order, I just chickweed. I made you out of clay. No. Okay, so right there, appreciation of small blessings. So this is the dusk meaning, appreciation of small blessings. And we've got the Ace of Wands. So the dawn meaning, and I think this was spring. So let's see. The chickweed, a good omen results. So how I might read this, and you know, I think someday I'm gonna go through this deck and I'm just gonna write the dawn and dusk meaning together and then create my own little book to put with this, you know. Yeah, anyway, so the dawn meaning with the Empress is a good omen or results. So a lot of creative energy coming in, and then we got that creative energy over here. So how it's coming in and how it's going out with the chickweed is appreciation of small blessings. All right. So, I mean, yeah, those sorts of meanings of the cards don't always make sense to me. But, yeah, so this is certainly an idea. Ooh, I love these two cards together. And this actually, the coloring on this goes pretty well, too. So I don't hate this deck with these two. I do think it looks okay. But I think it sort of gets overwhelmed by the fact that these two decks go so well together that I feel like I lose this deck a little bit. So I think what I'm going to try to do now is take this deck out and just kind of just pair it with the tarot here. And this I already like a little bit more. Yeah, I already like this a little bit more because now it feels a little more even. And I felt, and now they kind of match a bit more. Yeah. I mean, some of the cards in here are darker. I mean, we've got the Five of Swords here with the Three of Pentacles. So, oh, yes, a lot of going in with such nice intentions, working together, and then a fight erupts. The King of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, that's nice. I do like this a little bit better. I like this a little bit better. All right. Okay, I have another tarot deck to pair with this, and it's one that I mentioned earlier. And since this is very much a deck that makes me happy sort of thing, sort of vibe, a pick-me-up deck, I thought I would try to pair it with my Barkana Tarot and see how I like that. So these are my two pick-me-up decks. They just make me happy sort of decks. So how well are these two going to go together? Of course, they both have a cutesy sort of design or feeling to them. Yeah, so I think this could work. I mean, I'm just going to use two decks at a time. This is interesting. The Nine of Cups with the Knight of Pentacles. Huh. Yeah, this is not too bad. I mean, I wouldn't do it like this sort of reading. I would probably use multiple of each cards. But I do think the colors go pretty well together. I'm not like totally in love with this, but I like that I'm continuing to see like similar colors that pop out, because this Queen of Swords with this Two of Swords, they kind of, they kind of go together. I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, but I kind of like them. Let's see. The Hermit with the Queen of Wands. Wow. I almost feel like that's like a feeling like restless almost, because the Queen of Wands is like bursting with energy, and then we've got the Hermit. So that's quite interesting. Oh, my puppy. So, I mean, this is cute. I don't know how practically I would actually use these two together, but I just kind of wanted to see my two decks here of feel good, it just makes me happy kind of decks. Yeah, and like I do like that it does have a very similar color palette. The art styles are obviously very different, but the color palette is very similar. Yeah. All right. Well, that's the other tarot deck I had. All right. So I have one more thing to pull out. Okay. So I'm not sure how I want to do this. This is actually 3 decks, but I'm going to use them all together. And this is the illustrated bestiary. This is the illustrated herbiary. And this is the illustrated Crystallary. So all three of the decks. And I was thinking maybe I could do something like this. I may have to pull out the camera and then put a card around each of these. I don't know. Yeah, let me see. Hold on. Okay, just had to pull it all out. This is the Crystallary, the Bestiary, and the Herbiary. And my candle went out. That's okay. Yeah, so I thought maybe this could be an interesting way to do it, using all three. But it really, like, puts a lot of energy on the one card here, you know? Because with the Garden Quartz, sorry, I'm misreading what I see. With the Garden Quartz, there are worlds within you. With the Tabby Cat, you are worthy. And with Dandelion, we have Perseverance. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles in the middle here. And, wow, okay. Like, very regal here. So, I mean, let's see how... I like this. I'm going to have to take a chunk off. All right, there we go. So let's see. Interesting. Amber, what you are becoming. Beaver, make manifest. And Chickweed, start fresh. And then we have Two of Swords in the middle here. Huh. You know, what might actually work better. Let's try something else. Hold on. Okay, let's try something like this, where we're doing the three cards up here, but they're like spread positions or just focuses for the cards. So we do have the Two of Swords here. So what are you becoming, Amber? We can put the Two of Swords here, and we can maybe read this like it's a kind of, because the Two of Swords for me is like an instinct, sort of like going with your instincts. We've got a choice to make, and we're blindly choosing, but it's not necessarily it's not blind. It's kind of outwardly blind and going with our gut sort of feeling. So what are you becoming? I feel like we're going within, and we're seeing what's in these. And then for Make Manifest, for Beaver, we have the Six of Wands, and it's like, wow, okay, so Six of Wands is like a victory, and it's a celebration, you know, but connected with the Beaver here, Make Manifest, there was a lot of hard work put into it, and it's something that can progress. And then we have Chickweed, start fresh, and then we have the Star right there. So following your dreams or goals, and it is something that's going to bring a success. I almost feel like this should be the last card. Like, it's, you know, like this one makes more sense to go first, and then we have this one, and then this one. That makes the most sense for this particular reading. But yeah, so this is one way we could do it, and I can pull out another set of cards here. Let me put that away, and that away, and that away. So Smoky Quartz, fall apart. House Mouse, work together. And finally, let's see this one. And Tulsi Plant, you are sacred. Interesting combinations. Let me see what we get for this. So fall apart is, for Smoky Quartz, we have Four of Cups, so a sense of like apathy and not really wanting to do things, and because of that, things are sort of falling apart. House Mouse, with the Ace of Pentacles, work together, but like there's something like, so this capybara is sort of ignoring what's coming to him, but we need to start paying attention, because there is something that's going to present itself that maybe we need to actually wake up a bit and grab a hold of. Yeah, and then finally we have you are sacred with the Tulsi Plant and the Ten of Cups. So it's definitely a very positive sort of thing. So I mean, I feel like almost every reading you would get with a capybara would be very positive leaning, you know. So it does skew positive, I think. But as far as how these cards look, I actually think they look quite nice with these decks. I mean, I'm going to just lay out a few right here, and we'll just kind of look at this. But yeah, I think these actually go pretty well. And I did like what I was doing with them, but I feel like there's things I need to work out with it a bit. So I think I love the art of these illustrated decks. The art on these is like absolutely fantastic. I think my biggest problem with these decks is a disconnect for me on the messages. Sometimes I wish it didn't have this, but then at the same time, it's kind of nice because then I don't have to look in the book, you know. But honestly, I think I would just prefer not to. I would just want to have the title, because once you start adding a bunch of keywords or phrases and stuff, it kind of takes me out of it, and it takes me in a very different direction, or a hyper specific direction, if that makes sense. So that's my biggest gripe with Oracle decks like that. But anyway, so I guess I am the kind of person that likes just one keyword, or, you know, 3 simple keywords or something like that. A title, something like that. No phrases. I think phrases are where it like throws me off. But anyway, so that is the Capybara Tarot. I think it worked best with... I really liked it with the Pacific Northwest Tarot. Let's not put it on the sad card. Let's put it on the Four of Wands. That's a happier card. There we go. Put it on that. I really liked it with the Pacific Northwest Tarot. I did actually like it with the High Desert Oracle. I thought it went pretty well, actually. And I think it went really well with my Bitmoji, Normand, of course. And I did like it with the illustrated decks. I think I want to tweak with that a bit and see what I come up with. All right. So, thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye.